I want to show you how to use one of these called a speed square. Now, if you have your measurements, what I did for, if you see down here, I had to mark out this piece, and my piece has to go this way and then up that way. So I marked that out, and here was my dimension. I need to cut off this, the other is the distance there, and then I need to cut off this whole part here. So once I have these two measurements, how do I connect the dots? Before I was showing you just by doing it by hand. When you have a big spot from here to here, you don't want to be doing that by hand. Chances are you're going to miss. So what you do is just take the speed square, put it on the edge, and voila. You have your line from there to there, and then you can do the same for this side. Plus then you only need one mark as opposed to two, because instead of having to mark there and there, you can just mark right there, zing, cross. I'll just finish that with my pencil, and there you go, and I'll be cutting that piece out right there. So now we are going to learn how to cut our crazy design in the tile here. First of all though, even before we cut, we have to prepare the saw. So the first thing we do is we get some water in any type of container. Everybody has got some sort of pot that they can use or whatever. Fill it up with some water. Now this particular saw is just a cheapo $60 saw at Canadian Tire. Anywhere between 60 and 100 bucks will get you a tile saw. It's called a wet tile saw that will work just fine, especially with ceramic tile. Very easy to cut through, no problem. It's got a 4.5-inch blade. If it'll allow me to show it to you, which right now it's not. There we go. So this little 4.5-inch blade here, as you can see, it's a little rusted, well used, but it still works just fine. And this is the guard, goes over top. And you'll see why in a minute. It's very necessary to use one for safety, obvious, but it's the water that'll come up and soak you if not. So in this case, you can just grab the side, pick it up, slide it out, and inside there is a water table right there. I generally do it a little differently than what they say. I find when I fill it up to that top mark, I just get absolutely soaked. So what I do is I fill it up to the line just below that, and that way there's still plenty of enough water in here to keep the blade wet, but not so much that you get absolutely soaked. You just pour your water in, at that mark, and voila, there you go. Now one thing you do have to make sure by doing it this way is you do have to, every once in a while, you have to put some more water back in. If you're finding that the blade isn't getting wet, that the water's not coming down, and you'll see that when we start cutting, that you'll need to do this and fill it up a little bit again, because water does splash out, it'll come out, and you'll need to fill it up, because if the water isn't full enough in there, that blade will be running dry and you'll destroy it in no time. It needs that water to cool it down and to help with the cutting. So once you have that on, you're ready just to put this back on, down, it's in place. Make sure your guard is down. It's not down too low that it'll hit the tile, but it's not up too high that you'll get splashed. And once you plug it in, make sure you wear your safety equipment. When you're using this, is very, very, very important that you put on your safety glasses and you put on your earmuffs. Now there's a few ways to use this table. You can use it on the floor, which I find generally works just fine and it's easy. Or you can set it on top of something, as long as that something is very, very sturdy. You can't put it on something that's either slippery or unsteady. It doesn't work well. It's not a pretty sight if you start doing that. So I find the floor just works fine for what few cuts I do. I wear my knee pads, keep my knees from getting damaged, and then once it's plugged in, it's ready to go.